let's be honest here. Anonymity gets a bad rep on the internet.
That is a term used to describe the underbelly of the internet, where thieves can operate with anonymity and without detection.
Being able to do the worst things to a human and hide behind a computer screen. Anonymity on the dark web.
It gives people the courage to say what they want and do what they want, even if what they say goes against laws, rules, and social norms. Even if the government or people in power would like to find and persecute them. Anonymity allowed activists to organize a full-blown revolution in Egypt through Facebook, and they need this protection.
Boris Nemtsov, a fierce critic of Vladimir Putin, is shot dead on a bridge in the shadow of the Kremlin.
Malala began speaking and blogging in defense of girls' basic right to an education. She was shot in the head by a Taliban assassin.
We've seen the worst and the best the internet has to offer. But is anonymity and free speech on the internet still possible? You might have heard the name Section 230 all over the internet. It's what activists call the most important law protecting internet speech. In a nutshell, without Section 230, anyone would be able to sue a social media platform or a blog for content published there, which means they would have to take responsibility for every tweet, every post, every comment. Facebook alone has over 2.9 billion users, so either they would have to find a way to moderate and check everything we post, which obviously sounds damn near impossible, or they could simply deny us the right to comment, post, write, and share what we create. And that's why this section is kind of like the First Amendment of the internet.
Complete freedom of speech, of the press, emancipation from the Russians.
But not everyone is a fan of it.
I, for one, think we should be considering taking away the exemption.
In a New York Times interview, Joe Biden has said that Section 230 should be revoked. He says that platforms are responsible for spreading fake news. But he's not the only president raging against this. Surprisingly, Donald Trump was also pushing to repeal it.
They've been given protection, and they've abused that protection. And a lot of people are looking now at big bad tech.
He was furious for a very different reason, though. Mostly because Twitter was moderating its content and kept flagging his post as misinformation. In the strangest of cases, the hatred towards Section 230 seems to unite the biggest enemies we know. There are other obvious threats to anonymity or free speech online, like social media platforms having a real name policy and asking you to drop your username and identify yourself. If so many politicians and platforms are against anonymity, why do we need it? Remember the Egyptian story I mentioned? The internet has become a great way to organize people and communities. In oppressive regimes, people who protest or criticize the government are tracked and prosecuted. Anonymity can protect them. But the activists are not the only ones in danger here. Research has found that 1 out of 2 LGBT kids have experienced cyberbullying. Some countries like Uganda have criminalized or even have death penalty for homosexuality. Being open with your identity on the internet can have severe consequences for them. So anonymity has a way of reducing discrimination. Let's take this great example. An author, Michael Luca, and his colleagues have conducted a study on Airbnb. They wanted to know if names or profile pictures play an important role in the platform. So they sent identical booking requests to hosts. The only difference was the name. They took names which were the most popular for Black Americans and white Americans, and the results showed that Black guests were less likely to be accepted. After the study, Airbnb has tried to reintroduce anonymity back into their platform, like making a decision before seeing the guest's picture. Okay, obviously there are drawbacks to anonymity online. I can't plead ignorance here. The biggest are bots and trolls that are roaming every chat room, every forum, every platform. Cyberbullying and hate speech is a problem, yet taking away anonymity might not be the solution. We can take this Twitter research as evidence. Before the Euro 2020 tournament, Twitter has prepared to quickly identify and take down racist and abusive tweets. 1,961 tweets were taken down and accounts were suspended, but 99% of the accounts were not anonymous. They could easily identify those users, and that is a crucial thing here. I can't tell you that everything is all fun and dandy on the internet. There are real dangers. There is false information, abuse, harassment, all the 9 circles of hell. But anonymity seems to be a scapegoat of not actually discussing and resolving these problems. And around 68% of internet users believe current laws are not good enough in protecting people's privacy online. Now that we've seen that anonymity might protect people's right to organize or free speech, we're left with the biggest question of all. With all the data we give out, our personal names, our IP addresses, is it still possible to stay truly anonymous online? What do you think, my pseudonymous commentator?
Section 230, it's protection. It protects them from everything. It shields them.
I think that Congress should update the law to make sure that it's working as intended.